Hey, what's up guys, it's Mike here, Pros Physiques, and I want to talk to you about sugar. So as you know, America has a health epidemic going on. About 68% of Americans are considered overweight or obese. 35% of those are morbidly obese, and believe it or not, 3 out of 4 men are also considered overweight or obese. So that you can see is a huge problem, epidemic. So that's why I want to talk to you about sugar and how sugar has actually helped, or I wouldn't say help, but it contributes a huge part of all those issues, as well as health-related diseases. So let's just first talk about what sugar actually is. So there are a few different types of sugar, and I'm going to go over each one and how it affects the body. So the first one I want to talk about is glucose. So glucose is also known as dextrose, and if you don't know, it can be found in simple carbohydrates like potatoes, vegetables, starchy foods, and glucose is digested and metabolized right into the bloodstream. And we'll go over that a little bit more later. So the next type of sugar that I want to talk about is fructose. Fructose can be found in honey and different types of fruit and vegetables, and it is actually metabolized not in the bloodstream directly, but into the liver. So, and then it can be into the bloodstream as well. Next is galactose, which can be found in your milk and things like Greek yogurt. So, so let's talk about simple sugars like table sugar, which is sucrose. And sucrose is actually a combination of glucose and fructose. So next is high fructose corn syrup. We all know what high fructose corn syrup is, and we think that high fructose corn syrup is the bad one. But I'm going to talk about the other three, glucose, fructose, and sucrose. And believe it or not, how those other ones are just as bad. And we've been tricked into thinking that the other sugars are good and high fructose corn syrup is the ultimate bad one. It is in a sense, but the other ones are just as bad. So I'm going to talk about those. So high fructose corn syrup is nothing more than corn syrup, or cornstarch, that has been processed by glucose to create a form of fructose. So, so how much sugar is actually healthy for you? So according to the American Heart Association, for men, the recommendation for a daily intake of sugar is 150 calories, which comes out to about 9 teaspoons. For women, it's 100 calories, which comes out to about 6 teaspoons. So I know for sure that I'm guilty of eating a lot more than 6 teaspoons of sugar. So the first form of sugar I want to talk about is glucose, because it's the healthiest, and I want to get that out of the way. So once digested, glucose is slowly released into the bloodstream. The glycemic level shown here, you can see by this picture, give an idea of the glycemic index, which indicates the rates that these foods digest into the bloodstream. So the glucose that isn't used by the body via the bloodstream is then stored in the liver as glycogen to be later used for energy, especially when you work out and stuff. So what happens now when your body digest fructose, which is a little bit different. So fructose is different in the way that instead of going directly into the bloodstream, it actually goes into the liver, where enzymes in the fructose signal the liver to only store the fructose. And if you didn't know, manufactured fructose, which is actually toxic, makes your liver store the fructose without releasing any extra into the bloodstream to be used by the body. So all that excess fructose is stored as fat, which contributes to things like fatty liver disease, and it releases fat into the bloodstream at a higher rate, causing heart disease and an array of other problems like obesity. So what are some of the health complications that actually happen from your body consuming too much sugar? So sugar contains no nutrients. So if you're eating too many calories, you're eating 0 calorie nutrients. So the average person consumes about 10 to 20% more calories due to sugar consumption than those who don't. So you can see how the caloric intake dramatically increases, therefore leading to obesity. So when you eat sugar, insulin is actually released at a higher rate in the body. So your body is able to produce insulin, isn't able to produce insulin anymore if there's too much insulin being released, which can cause metabolic syndrome, obesity, cardiovascular disease, and type 2 diabetes. So type 2 diabetes happens when blood sugar levels are too high, which signals the pancreas to continue releasing insulin. But what happens is the pancreas can't keep up with the demands that are needed to keep blood sugar levels low enough, so the blood sugar levels actually skyrocket, and that's where type 2 diabetes actually comes from. Also, the pancreas stops producing insulin, which increases insulin sensitivity. So sugar consumption also increases your risk for cancer. So cancer is caused by uncontrolled growth and manipulation of cells, which insulin is actually a key factor in this type of growth. Scientists have concluded that high levels of insulin result in cancer production, and it increases the body's reaction to cellular growth, so cancer is able to thrive that more. So also another problem is dopamine is released in the brain. So sugar affects the brain's hormones, which makes your brain release dopamine, a powerful good feel hormone. And if you didn't know, dopamine levels make sugar highly addictive. So the chances of you lowering your sugar intake can dramatically be affected. Also, what happens is when you consume too much sugar, the brain isn't able to signal to your body that you've had enough to eat, because sugar is a lot higher in calories, but doesn't really fill the body up the way it should. So you're actually left hungrier after consuming foods high in sugar than you would if you weren't eating a lot of sugar. So that's something to consider. Also, I want to talk about what high fructose corn syrup does by overloading the liver. Like I mentioned before, it causes your body to store fat at a higher rate. And the increase of this fat storage goes into the bloodstream, and that's when I mentioned, the risk of heart disease. So we used to think that fats were bad and fats made us fat, but that's actually not true. Saturated fats are considered healthy fats, and they can increase brain function. They help insulate your body, and they also lower bad cholesterol, where sugar has the opposite effect. Sugar actually increases bad cholesterol, and this bad cholesterol increases blood glucose levels and triglycerides in the body, which go back, increases that risk of heart disease and stuff like that. So you're probably wondering, well, okay, all these complications come from the consumption of sugar. Now, how can I actually limit my risk of all these complications by limiting the amount of sugar that I have? And that's a hard question to ask, because there are so many problems with the foods that we eat, and the government actually doesn't regulate companies label the amount of added sugar on food labels. They only add the total amount. So a lot of foods and pastries and soft drinks might say they have a total amount of sugar, but the amount of processed or added sugar could be highly, could be a high percentage of that total amount, which in turn, just makes matters worse. So I have a really quick, few slides that actually demonstrate or will show you some of the foods that you probably drink on a daily basis, but you should probably avoid consumption, because once you get an idea of how much sugar is in some of this stuff, you're really going to consider what you've been consuming. So as you can see here, the average American drinks more than 60 gallons of soft drinks each year. That's ridiculous. 60 gallons. I mean, that's more than your average garbage can. So as you can see here, just one 32-ounce container of your typical soft drink has 52 grams of sugar. I mentioned earlier that the American Health Association recommends 150 calories of sugar, which is like 37 grams. So you can see here, just one 32-ounce soft drink contains over that limit. And I mean, I know people that drink way more than 32 ounces of sugar. I mean, I've done it before. Have you ever gone to the movies and had one of the big giant things? I mean, that's 60, ounces right there. So you can see how much sugar is in soda. And so here you go, fruit juice. You can see, lemonade here at the very bottom. Lemonade actually has 10.5 grams of sugar in just 8 ounces. Fruit punch has 14 grams of sugar. Unsweetened apple juice. I mean, how many times have you given your kid unsweetened apple juice thinking that it's healthy because there's no sugar in it? But as you can see, unsweetened apple juice has 16 grams of added sugar in it. That added sugar is huge. So these are just some things to take consideration for is the fruit juices that you take. So the next one, you can see you got energy drinks. Energy drinks have 32 to 40 grams of added sugar. Wine coolers, those of you who don't like to drink beer or wine, you're getting more sugar in these wine coolers than you would your alcoholic beverages. Okay, here you go, your Starbucks lovers. A Starbucks Frappuccino has 18 grams of added sugar in just 9 ounces. So I don't know what the sizes are. I think a venti is like 16 ounces. So, or no, it's 20. Yeah, venti. So it's 20 or something ounces. So you can see how you're drinking 3 times that amount. So 18 times 3, I mean, you're drinking 40 something worth of sugar. So also you can see if you're feeding your kids, this is some of the problems that contribute to childhood obesity. So you can see here, Raisin Bran, 7 grams. Granola with raisins is 7 grams. Cocoa Puffs, 7 grams. So, and these are all in, 1 cup, half a cup, 3/4 cup servings. I know kids that eat, 2 to 3 cups at a time for breakfast. So you can see how much sugar they're consuming. Not to mention the sugar from the milk. So next we have cakes and pies, ice cream. So a Dairy Queen, this is crazy, a Dairy Queen peanut butter cup blizzard has 60 grams of sugar in that ice cream alone. That's ridiculous. And like, again, this is added sugar. This is, the sucrose and the high fructose corn syrup, which, these are the bad sugars here. So you can see a double fudge chocolate cake, 37 grams. So, I mean, all these, the list goes on and on. McDonald's, 18 grams. So if you're a heavy, pastry and ice cream person, you need to really, really reconsider what you're consuming here. Okay, so, we have canned foods and dried fruits. Now, this is a big one that people, they think that they're eating healthy because it's in the form of dehydration. So, which really is not the fact. So you can see here, dried fruits, raisins, dates, and figs, all in just 1/4 of a cup. So, a cup's going to be about this big. So you're probably getting this much. You can see how it has 10 to 20 grams of added sugar. So canned fruits, 10 to 12, and jellies and jams, 5 to 10. So little trivia here. You can see when manufacturers measure the fat from foods like salad dressings, what do you think they use to replace it? Sugar, of course. So if you see something that says fat-free, that doesn't mean that it's healthier for you, because I could take a pound of sugar and slap a fat-free sticker on it and it's fat-free. But I guarantee you that sugar that you're consuming is going to make you fat a lot faster than, let's say a liter of olive oil. So these are just some things to consider. If your favorite sauce is right here on this list, you're probably consuming a lot of sugar extra. Even if you're eating healthy, the extra sugars from these sauces are gonna, help contribute to those, needless calories. Especially if you're watching your diet and you're trying to, prep for a show or something, or even lose weight. So the next one we have, and here's the last one, it's just simple sugars. So you got honey, maple syrup, and regular syrup. As you can see, the differences in the levels of sugar in these, and then some sauces that people love. Orange chicken, look at that, 8 to 10 grams just in chicken. So you think you're eating healthy chicken? There's sugar in the sauce. Sweet and sour, a good amount of sugar, and then teriyaki, as you can see, is the least. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you were able to get some good insight information on sugar. And, I probably could go along a lot longer talking about, all the stuff that comes with it, but, I'm kind of limited. But I hope you could get a good idea of what sugar does to your body and how it has affected the millions of people's lives. And now you can kind of see what is in some of the daily drinks and foods that you eat, and maybe this can help you kind of limit your amount of sugar intake. And I hope that it's something that you can take home with you. And as well, if the parents of you, people out there with kids, you can see that a lot of these things that I showed you on these graphs or these pictures are sweets that we're giving to our children. Something as simple as Raisin Bran or oats, and that's a big problem. So if you want more information or you have questions about anything related to this video, feel free to reach out to me, and bear with me. This is one of my first videos, so I hope I only get better. And if there's anything to take away, it's being healthy and worrying about your overall fitness and journey. So thanks again, and this is Mike Perez, Perez Physiques.